Tom and his family had been patiently waiting to park. The entire family was very excited to be going out to eat. Tom spent a lot of time waiting to park his car to enter the restaurant. Finally, a spot opened up for him. As Tom was about to move into the open parking spot, he was cut off by another driver. His entire family was completely shocked by what had happened. Several ladies exited the car like they had done nothing wrong and entered the restaurant. Tom was taken by complete shock when he saw the group of noisy girls exiting the car. He definitely wasn't happy with what the ladies had done. Everyone knows that parking is on a first-come, first-served basis, but these girls failed to comply. Tom confronted the rude girls about what they had done. However, the driver told him that it was too bad. The man was completely surprised by what had happened. That's when he decided that he needed to teach these girls a lesson. Tom and his family decided to make the most of their evening and not let the mean girls get to them. However, Tom still had not forgotten about what the girls had done and knew that he was going to make things right. Tom had simply wanted a relaxed evening with his family. However, these mean girls had ruined his entire evening. From his table, he could clearly see the girls getting drunk, and so he decided to get a waiter to help him out. Tom gave the waiter $20 for him to help, and the waiter gladly took it. The waiter became incredibly curious about what the man had planned and was happy to help him out. It was evident that the entire restaurant found the noisy girls to be incredibly rude. Tom told the waiter that he should wait 10 minutes after he and his family leave. After this, he should tell the girls that someone called with a message that their car had been keyed and that they should have parked somewhere else. The waiter took the $20 and agreed the plan that Tom had come up with. Tom wanted to stand by to see what the girls were going to do after hearing the news. However, he decided against this and felt that things would be better if he allowed things to pan out without his presence. Tom didn't wish anything actually bad to happen to these girls. However, he did want to teach these ladies a lesson, and that's exactly what he did. Once arriving back home, he called the waiter to find out how the plan had unfolded. Their reaction was something that even Tom couldn't have planned for. The girls made a huge scene, got everyone's attention in the restaurant, and called the police. Once the police arrived, they checked the car to find that it didn't have a single scratch or dent. There was nothing the police could do, so they went back to their car. Once the women were finished with their drinks and meal, they decided it was time to return back to their car and head home. Everyone could tell that the ladies were too drunk to drive, and the police knew it also, which is why they intervened after the driver started the engine. It was clear that karma had been served to the girls in the car. Their rude behavior had led to the police being called and had ended in the police getting involved when the drunk driver tried to start the vehicle. Was she going to get arrested? The only reason the police were called to the restaurant was because of their impolite manners. However, nobody would have guessed that them taking Tom's parking would lead to the ladies being charged for a DUI. The waiter at the restaurant received $40 as Tom later returned to the restaurant with an additional $20 to thank him. However, many people believed that Tom had gone too far. What do you think? Tom had planned to teach the girls a lesson about their rude behavior. However, the ladies calling the cops was never part of the plan. He was very surprised about what had happened, but the girls called the very people who later arrested them, not Tom. When looking at his plan, Tom had done nothing wrong. All he had planned to do was give the girls a little scare for being so rude to him. He had never intended it to go so far, but at the same time, their rude behavior led to this, and they brought it upon themselves. After the story was retold to wider audiences, people began to think that the tale was made up. This is because nobody could find photos, the girls' names, or police reports that aligned with this story. Nonetheless, it's important to understand the importance of the story. One must first ask why Tom would have made up such a story. There's no doubt that the story has a very important moral. However, this doesn't sound like the type of thing that people just make up. It needs to have come from somewhere. However, it's still a pretty lucky story for the girls who were involved in the tale. This is because there aren't any photos or evidence naming these girls. The ladies' location and additional personal information are all hidden, which is good for them. There are two evident morals in this story. One of these is that we all shouldn't misjudge people who are around us. We may feel like we are better than others, but we shouldn't judge what we don't know. But what's the second lesson? Another very important lesson that all people should take with them is that nothing good happens to those who are rude to others. Karma is always waiting to be delivered to a terrible person. This is exactly what happened with these mean girls.